I cut off my father after he chose alcohol over us. Now he's begging me for help. My father taught me three things: how to hide, how to protect, and how to wait. The hiding came first. By the time I was 6 years old, I knew every spot in our small Ohio house where a boy could disappear. Behind the couch in the basement, inside the hall closet, buried under winter coats, under my bed, pressed flat against the floor, holding my breath until my lungs burned. I hid from his voice first, that low, rumbling warning that meant he'd been drinking. Then I hid from his footsteps, heavy, uneven, stumbling. Then I hid from his hands. My father, Kevin, was a charming man when he was sober. He worked as a salesman. He could convince anyone to buy anything. He convinced my mother to marry him when she was 19. He convinced her his drinking was under control. He convinced her that the broken dishes were accidents. He convinced her that the bruises on her arm were from walking into doors. For 18 years, she believed him. I never did. I watched him from my hiding spots. I watched him come home at midnight, reeking of whiskey. I watched him scream at my mother because dinner was cold. I watched him throw his plate against the wall, then make her clean it up while he passed out on the couch. I was 7 years old the first time I wished he would die. That's a terrible thing for a child to think. But children are honest in ways adults forget how to be. I didn't wish for his death because I was evil. I wished for it because I was tired. Tired of being scared. Tired of hiding. Tired of watching my mother cry in the bathroom with the water running so I wouldn't hear. But I wasn't just hiding for myself. When I was 8, my sister Sarah was born. I remember the day my mother came home from the hospital. She held Sarah in her arms like she was made of glass. My father stood behind her, pretending to be a proud dad. He had bought flowers. He had cleaned the living room. He was putting on a show. I knew it wouldn't last. The waiting came later. I learned that revenge isn't loud. It's patient. And I had a lot of time to wait. Sarah was 3 years younger than me. She had curly brown hair and a laugh that filled up her room. She didn't understand why I was always watching the door. She didn't understand why I would pull her away from the window when we heard his truck in the driveway. I didn't want her to understand. I wanted her to be a kid for as long as possible. My mother worked double shifts as a waitress. She left for work at 6 a.m. and came home at 11 p.m. She did it so we could eat, so we could have shoes that fit, so the electricity stayed on. While she was gone, I became the parent. I learned to cook when I was 9. Not because I wanted to, because if I didn't make dinner, Sarah wouldn't eat. I learned to do laundry when I was 10, to help Sarah with her homework, to braid her hair before school because my mother had already left. My father was there, physically. He sat on the couch and watched TV. He drank beer after beer. Sometimes he'd look at us like he was trying to remember who we were. One night, when I was 11 and Sarah was 8, my father came home drunker than usual. He stumbled into the kitchen where we were eating dinner. He looked at the spaghetti I had made. "What is this garbage?" he said. I didn't answer. I learned not to answer. He grabbed the plate and threw it against the wall. Spaghetti and sauce splattered everywhere. Sarah started crying. He turned to her. "Shut up," he said. "Stop crying." I stood up. I was 11 years old. I was half his size, but I stood between him and my sister. "Don't," I said. He stared at me. For a second, I saw something in his eyes. Surprise. Maybe even respect. Then he laughed. "Little man thinks he's tough," he said. He walked past me, grabbed another beer from the fridge, and went back to the living room. Sarah was still crying. I cleaned the spaghetti off the wall. I made her a peanut butter sandwich. I sat with her until she fell asleep. That night, I promised myself 2 things. First, I would never let him hurt her. Second, one day I would leave, and I would take them both with me. Our grandmother, Nana Rose, knew what was happening. She lived 40 minutes away. She would drive down once a month with groceries. She'd look at my mother's bruised arms and say nothing. She'd hold me tight and whisper, "You're the man of the house now, Jake. Take care of your sister." Aunt Linda, my mother's sister, was more direct. She'd pull my mother into the kitchen and yell at her. "Leave him, Margaret. Bring the kids to my place. I'll help you." My mother always shook her head. "He'll change." He promised. He never changed. When I was 13, my father broke my mother's wrist. She said she fell down the stairs. The emergency room doctor didn't believe her, but he couldn't prove anything. Sarah was 10. She wasn't fooled anymore. She stopped laughing. She stopped running around the house. She became quiet, watchful, just like me. That's what abuse does. It doesn't just hurt you. It steals who you are. Mr. Henderson, our neighbor, finally called the police one night. He heard the shouting. He heard something break. He heard Sarah screaming. The police came. My father was arrested for domestic disturbance. He spent one night in jail and was released the next morning. My mother bailed him out. I never forgave her for that. Not completely. School became my escape. I was good at math and science. Numbers made sense. They didn't scream. They didn't lie. They didn't promise to change and then come home drunk. Mrs. Patterson, my 7th grade teacher, noticed I never had lunch. She started leaving an extra sandwich on the corner of her desk. She never said it was for me. I took it every day. She saved my life in small ways that she probably never knew. My sister Sarah was smart too. She loved to read. She would disappear into books the way I disappeared into math. We would sit in my room at night, her reading, me doing homework, both of us listening for the sound of his truck. In high school, I got a job at a grocery store, bagging groceries, minimum wage. I saved every dollar in a coffee can under my floorboard, the same spot where I used to hide. Sarah got a job too, when she was old enough, babysitting, then at a diner. We had a system. Half our paychecks went into the coffee can. The other half went to our mother for household expenses. Our father never asked where the money came from. He never asked about our grades, our friends, our dreams. He only spoke to us when he needed something. A beer, the remote, for us to get out of his sight. When I was 17, I applied for colleges. My guidance counselor helped me with scholarships. I got into a state university with a partial scholarship and student loans. My father didn't attend my high school graduation. He was at the bar. My mother came. She cried. Nana Rose came. She hugged me and said, "You made it, Jake. Don't look back." Sarah was 14. She sat in the front row and cheered louder than anyone. After the ceremony, I pulled Sarah aside. I gave her the coffee can. It had almost $8,000 in it. "This is for you," I said. "If things get bad, if you need to leave, use this." She hugged me. She was crying. "Don't leave me alone with him," she whispered. "I'm not leaving you," I said. "I'm making a way for both of us. Just hold on a little longer." I left for college 3 months later. It was the hardest and best thing I ever did. College was hard. I worked 2 jobs, night shifts at a warehouse, weekends at a campus restaurant. I studied computer science because I heard it paid well. I didn't care about passion. I cared about survival. I called Sarah every Sunday. She told me about home. Our father's drinking got worse after I left. He lost his job. He stayed home all day, drinking, watching TV. Our mother worked even more to cover the bills. Sarah became the parent, just like I had been. She cooked. She cleaned. She did the grocery shopping. She hid in her room when he got angry. I sent her money when I could. I told her to stay strong. I told her I was almost there. I graduated in 4 years with a degree in computer science and $40,000 in student debt. I was the first person in my family to graduate college. My mother came to the ceremony. My father didn't. I didn't invite him. My first job was at a tech startup. 23 years old. Salaried. Health insurance. A desk by a window. I felt like I climbed Mount Everest. The startup grew. I grew with it. I learned everything I could. I worked harder than everyone else because I was terrified of going back. Back to Ohio. Back to that house. Back to the sound of his truck in the driveway. When I was 28, I became a senior developer. When I was 31, I became a team lead. When I was 34, I started my own consulting firm. I called Sarah the day I signed the papers. She was 23 by then. She had graduated college too. She was working as a teacher's assistant, living in a small apartment an hour away from our parents. "I did it," I said. "I started my own company." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You did it, Jake. You got us out." I corrected her. "I got myself out. You got yourself out. We did it together." My business succeeded. Not overnight. Slowly. I lost clients. I made mistakes. There were months I couldn't pay myself. But I kept going because I knew what waiting meant. I had been waiting my whole life. By 38, my firm had 20 employees. By 42, we had 60. I was a millionaire. Not rich enough to retire, but rich enough to never worry about money again. I bought a house. 4 bedrooms. A yard. A garage with no broken bottles on the floor. I adopted a dog. A golden retriever named Chance. I planted a garden. I built a life that looked nothing like the one I escaped. Sarah came to visit for Christmas that year. She walked through my house like she was in a museum, touching things, staring. You did this, she said. You really did this. We did this, I said. Remember the coffee can? She laughed. I still have it. It's in my closet. Empty now, but I kept it. We sat on my porch that night, drinking hot chocolate, watching the snow fall. We talked about everything. The hiding, the fear, the night with the spaghetti, the night the police came. Do you hate him? Sarah asked. I thought about it. No, I said. I don't hate him. Hate takes too much energy. I just don't care about him. That's worse, I think. She nodded. Yeah, she said. That's worse. When I was 43, my mother finally left him. It took her 37 years. 37 years of broken dishes, broken bones, broken promises. She called me on a Tuesday night. Her voice was different. Not scared, not sad, just quiet. I'm a motel, she said. I left him. I asked where. She told me. I booked a flight that night. When I picked her up at the airport, I barely recognized her. She looked 15 years younger. The tension in her shoulders was gone. The constant flinch when someone moved too fast was gone. She was still my mother, but she was also free. She stayed with me for 6 months. Sarah came to visit every weekend. The three of us would cook dinner together, watch movies, talk, really talk, about things we had never spoken about before. My mother told us things we hadn't known. The time he broke her wrist, it wasn't a fall. The time he locked her out of the house in January. She had walked to Mr. Henderson's house, and he let her sleep on his couch. The time she drove to the bridge and sat there for 3 hours, trying to decide if she should jump. Why did you stay? Sarah asked her one night. Her voice was angry, hurt. Why didn't you leave? For us. My mother cried. I was scared, she said. Scared of being alone. Scared of what he would do. Scared I couldn't support you. I made the wrong choice. I know that now. I'm sorry. I put my hand on Sarah's arm. She was shaking. I forgive you, Sarah said. But I won't forget. That's the thing about growing up in a house like ours. You learn to forgive, but you never forget. The divorce was ugly. My father hired a lawyer. He wanted half of everything. The house. My mother's retirement. He even tried to claim part of my business, arguing that he had supported my mother while she supported me. The judge laughed at that. Not literally, but almost. Aunt Linda testified at the hearing. So did Mr. Henderson. So did Nana Rose, even though she was 78 years old and used a cane. They told the judge about the bruises, the broken dishes, the night the police came, the years of watching my mother suffer. My father sat at the defense table with his lawyer. He looked old, broken. His hands shook. His face was red and swollen from the alcohol. He didn't look at us. Not once. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. My mother got the house, the car, and half of his pension. My father got his truck and his bar tab. My father called me after the hearing. The first time he called me in years. This is your fault, he said. You and your sister. You turned her against me. I said, she turned herself against you. We just gave her a place to land. He cursed at me, called me names, said I was never his son. I said, you're right. I wasn't. I was Nana Rose's grandson. I was Aunt Linda's nephew. I was Sarah's brother. I was my mother's son. You were just a man who lived in our house. He was silent for a long time. Then he hung up. I didn't block his number. I wanted him to know that I wasn't afraid of him anymore, that the little boy hiding in the closet was gone, that we had one. After the divorce, my mother moved into a small house near me. I bought it for her, not her name, in mine. That way, my father couldn't touch it. She didn't want to accept it at first. She said she didn't want to be a burden. I told her she'd spent 37 years being a punching bag. It was time someone took care of her. I set up a monthly allowance for her, enough to cover her bills, groceries, medication, enough that she could finally stop working. She was 63 years old. She had been working since she was 16. She deserved a rest. Sarah and I split the cost of a caretaker who came twice a week to help with groceries and cleaning. We wanted our mother to have an easy life. She had earned it. My mother cried when we told her. Not sad tears. Relieved tears. What about your father? She asked one day. What about him? I said, he's not doing well. I knew. I had made sure to know. My father was living in a studio apartment 30 miles away. He had lost his job years ago. His health was failing. His liver, his heart, his hands shook constantly from the alcohol. He was alone. No friends. No family. Just a TV that played the same channels and a refrigerator full of cheap beer. Aunt Linda had tried to help him. She brought him meals. He threw them away. She invited him to church. He cursed at her. He had burned every bridge, broken every relationship, used up every last bit of goodwill anyone had ever offered. And now he needed help. His Social Security wasn't enough to cover his rent. He was behind on his medical bills. He had a collection of letters from the hospital threatening to send him to collections. He called me. He called Sarah. He called our mother. At first, we didn't answer. Then I did. Just once. Dad, I said. The word felt strange in my mouth. I need help, he said. His voice was different. Weak. Small. I'm sick. I can't pay my bills. I'm going to lose my apartment. I know, I said. I'm your father. You were. A long time ago. Before you chose the bottle over us. He was silent for a long time. Then he said, I'm sorry. 37 years too late. I said, I forgive you. But I won't support you. What? You heard me. Sarah and I will pay for your funeral. We'll make sure you're not buried in a pauper's grave. But we won't pay your rent. We won't pay your medical bills. We won't bail you out of the mess you made. You can't do that, he said. It's not right. A son is supposed to take care of his father. You're right, I said. It's not right. Just like it wasn't right when you threw a plate at my mother. When you broke her wrist. When you locked her out in January. When you made 2 children hide in their rooms because they were terrified of you. I've changed. Have you? Are you sober? Silence. That's what I thought. He started crying. I had never heard my father cry before. Not once in 43 years. Please, he said. I'm begging you. You should have begged 30 years ago. You should have begged the night the police came. You should have begged when Sarah stopped laughing. I hung up. Sarah called me after. He called me too, she said. What did you tell him? The same thing you did. I forgive him, but I won't support him. Nana Rose will be proud of you, asked Jake. I smiled. Yeah, I said. She would. Part 7. The Resolution, 2330, 25:00. Calm, reflective, final tone. That was 3 years ago. My father is still alive. Barely. He's in and out of the hospital. His landlord is trying to evict him. The church stopped visiting. I still don't help him. Neither does Sarah. Some people say that makes us cold. That a son and daughter should honor their father, no matter what. Those people have never hidden in a closet, holding their breath, praying the heavy footsteps would pass by. They have never watched their mother cry in a bathroom with the water running. They have never had to become a parent to their own sibling because the real parent was too drunk to care. I support my mother. Sarah supports my mother. She has everything she needs. A warm house, good food, a garden she tends in the summer. She volunteers at the library. She has friends. She smiles now. Really smiles. Not the fake smile she used to wear to hide the bruises. Sarah is a teacher now. She works in elementary school. She tells me that she watches her students carefully. She looks for the quiet ones. The ones who flinch. The ones who never have lunch. She's the teacher she wished she had. I built my own world. I became successful not because of my father, but despite him. Every promotion, every client, every dollar in my bank account, those are mine. He doesn't get to claim them now just because he's old and sick. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's a brother and sister who became everything their father wasn't. It's a bank account that says no. It's a mother who finally sleeps through the night. My father wanted us to be weak. We became strong. My father wanted us to fail. We succeeded. My father wanted us to need him. We don't. And when he dies, because he will, probably soon, I will pay for his funeral. I will stand at the grave. Sarah will stand next to me, and we will feel nothing. That's not cruelty. That's justice. You don't get to break people for 37 years and then ask them to fix you. I'm not his son. I'm my mother's son. I'm Sarah's brother. I'm Nana Rose's grandson. I'm Aunt Linda's nephew. I am the sum of the people who actually loved me, and I took care of the parent who actually deserved it. That's the end of the story. Or maybe it's the beginning of a life my father never thought I'd have. Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more stories.